is the approval of HR recommendations. Enter a motion to approve. Motion from Mr. Ball. Second from Mr. Blue. All in favor? And unanimous. Item J is the adoption of the FY 26 final budget. Have a motion from Ms. Kendrick. Second from Mr. Ball. All in favor? And unanimous. Approval of the local board training plan for FY 26. I do have a question about that. I think in some of our informal discussions, we did talk about, possibly not going to, the training in Atlanta, correct?
Mentioned about the board.
We talked about possibly not going on that one and just limiting it to one conference this year. What is the board's pleasure on that?
We can zoom it now.
Alright, motion to approve the local board training plan for FY 26.
Make a motion.
Motion from Ms. Kendrick, second Mr. Paul, all in favor? Unanimous. Approval of the Turner County Board of Education's fiscal agent for FY 26 Family Connection Grant. That was Mr. Kramer.
Yes.
Motion from Mr. Kramer, second from Ms. Kendrick, all in favor? Unanimous. Approval of HMH purchase for 9th and 10th grade ELA curriculum in the amount of $27,195.36. Motion from Ms. Blue, second from Mr. Paul, all in favor? Unanimous. Approval of the YOS platform annual renewal for $42,000. Motion.
Make a motion.
Motion from Ms. Kendrick, second from Ms. Blue, all in favor? Unanimous. Approval of the GSBA RMS workers' comp and cyber insurance renewal. Motion. Motion from Mr. Paul, second from Ms. Blue, all in favor? That is unanimous. I think our next three agenda items were gone over last week. Any additional information for those? I have any additional questions for the Flex program, FY 25 special education, disproportionality compliance studies, or the BCBA? Information items from the board.
As far as construction updates, I've been in talks every single day with someone on the construction crew. You know, asphalt pouring was supposed to start today, but that was gonna be depending on weather. As you can see, it did not start in the areas that we thought that it would. For summer school and the summer feeding program, I do have updates as far as numbers. Summer school, as of today, Monday, June the 9th, the high school, we had 16 present. The middle school, we had 32 of the 40 present. And of the 8 that were absent, 6 of them today was their first day being absent. So they came all last week and have been regular attendees. At the elementary school, the 3rd grade, 48 of the 54 were present today. And in 5th grade, 47 of the 51. So that was 95. So for a total of 143 attending regularly. So the numbers are good.
High school, you said 16.
High school was 16 present today.
We don't,
The number that we had originally that they invited, let's see if I've got that number somewhere. I don't know if I have those numbers with me. I think they had 24 or 25 that they invited. So they got about, I don't know, like 8 or 9 kids that have not attended, they've been contacting parents regularly and still haven't got it.
You had 34.
34, thank you.
Do you have any student athletes at the elementary, or excuse me, the middle school or high school that are going to participate in summer school?
If I had to say, if I had to guess, I would say yes, even though I know we've got cheerleading practice and football practice going on at the same time. So they would be attending summer school and then attending the practice side.
What time is summer school, 8 to 12?
It is 8 to 11:30, and then lunch is at 11:30. And then I wanted Mr. Gomez to talk to you a little bit about the summer feeding programs. I know we have several going on, and I've mentioned the different programs, but I thought he could give you some numbers about the over 2,000 meals we've already served and some of the feedback that he's received and.
So yeah, we've been doing our seamless summer option, which we're just providing, breakfast and lunch meals. And then our summer feeding, service program, which we're doing snacks and supper meals. We were able to give out about 2290 meals just last week, and that was Monday through Thursday. We had a great feedback from the community. They really thank us for, giving those meals out. A lot of them said that it's been helping them a lot, and especially with our summer or our supper program, those are warm meals that they're getting. So the kids definitely enjoy that. And then our participation's been slowly increasing, so we've been having to, produce a lot more meals. That's all.
That's a good one. All right, skipping on down, College and Career Academy. Obviously, we were in Rome just a few days ago. PCSG voted, so it is now official. We now have the Titan Regional College and Career Academy, part of Turner County Schools, so we're very excited about that. The $3.1 million that was actually awarded, 100,000 of that is actually professional learning. You can spend it on basically whatever you want to spend it on. There's really not any, definitely things tied to that $100,000. It's a planning grant per se. So we have some flexibility there. And then the $3 million by design is a facilities grant. But if you already have a facility, which obviously we are very blessed that we've got brand new facilities, we can use it for any additional facilities growth. We can use it for lab equipment. We can use it to expand pathways, create new pathways based on student interest and what we're getting from our Bridgeville and New Science results. So some flexibility there to take it to the next level and offer some extremely incredible opportunities for our students.
We appreciate all the work that went into that, so College Career Academy grant, it's important.
Something that was important, I knew from day one, when I met all of you, that it was important, but you did, it was important for me as well. So I assured you if it was possible to get it, I'd get it for you. So here we are, it's an exciting day. All right, and then moving on into the superintendent's report. You asked last week, about GMAS data. I told you we had preliminary results, so I did include those in your packets. Again, they are preliminary, especially considering you just heard the numbers, 143 students that are retesting. So obviously, 143 students can significantly impact these numbers. But I would say we have shown a lot of improvement in several areas. If you look at your first page, so this packet, that's the first page of the packet, that's what's on the front. If you look at the first page, you'll see the little lightning bolts. And I appreciated Mr. Joyner doing it this way, because to me, it's a lot more powerful when you compare apples to apples. And when you compare apples to apples is when you're comparing the third grade scores from last year to the fourth grade scores of this year, because that's the same group of students, and you're showing how they improved, and what their Lexile scores have done, and who was at risk and who's no longer at risk. As a parent, obviously we look at the numbers going straight across as well. How did third grade perform last year? How did third grade perform this year? We look at all the data and drill down. So the lightning bolts show you, so if you look at, let's see, I'll just take the very first lightning bolt. On the third grade level, you'll see last year, there were 43% of the students that scored, at the, let's see, in 2024, there were 43% that scored at the 1 level. And then if you'll notice, it dropped to 36%. So that means those 13% of students moved from a level 1 up to a 2, 3, or 4. Because we want those level 1 numbers to drop. And it happened from 3rd to 4th. If you'll look, it also happened from 4th to 5th. We got 51% last year that scored a level 1. This year it was only 36%. So those are double-digit gains of kids that moved into the 2, 3, and 4 groups. Just to show you, like I said, comparing apples to apples. And you can, I won't read all the numbers to you, but if you'll look at the reading on or above grade level, that's that next to last column, the wider column, right before you get to the end of the page. You'll see that we had a 31-point increase at 4th grade ELA, and that same group, we now have 49% that are reading above grade level. For last year, it was only 31. I mean, that's tremendous. And obviously, we can relate that back to HMH, a focus on Tier 1 instruction, bell-to-bell, student engagement, more differentiated instruction than before, quality teaching, and support by our staff. A lot of variables, can't pinpoint just one. But we do, Mr. Joyner provided some explanations off to the side as well. You'll see that for the elementary, the middle, and the high. Like I said, I'm more than will change, once we do retest scores in about 2 weeks. Moving on to the COPS 2 grant. Last spring, I was hired and found out we had COPS 1. That was a grant that I also received in my former system, which was very beneficial, about $500,000 that you're able to use for safety and security. So as soon as that COPS 1, once we decided that money was gonna spend on, the board voted to approve that, we immediately rolled into the Russ BLT grant and then rolled into COPS 2, which is again available to us. So again, that's $500,000 that we can use for safety and security. So the breakdown of what that $500,000, the next $500,000 could possibly be used for, that we're gonna include in that grant budget that's due by the end of this month. Additional cameras, and that will be for the elementary school, access control for the elementary school, and a new intercom for the elementary school, because we know all of those are dire need. We know that fencing and gates was included in the very beginning of the new middle school, high school project, or I don't know that it was ever discussed, but I know it's not in any of the budget or plans right now, fencing or gates. Y'all remember it being discussed, or was that being?
I don't remember it, but I don't think it was included.
So to secure the entire campus, I think that fencing and gates are necessary, and this grant would help us pay for that. So we're working on getting quotes for that right now. We're also looking at the open gate, which are the mobile metal detectors. You may have seen that more recently. Instead of having we don't have it in the backup room, the traditional metal detector that you walk through the box, it's not like that. It's more of a pole that goes up on one side and a pole that goes up on the other side. We did it with the Turner County colors, we put socks over it so that it looks, not like you're walking into a prison. But it gives you the allure of just walking through, and it actually is more hypersensitive, that you can set it for different levels. It's a lot easier to manipulate and work with than the box metal detectors.
Is that involved?
It's through Open Gate is the name of the company, but there are other companies that do it, but Open Gate are the ones that have done it. Giving us some
And
samples.
Evolve sponsored our training.
Evolve, EVOLE. They do the same thing, I'll check them.
Yeah, it's a very similar
Very similar product.
product.
We've also looked at some safety rugs, mats, we've got things like this, those are considered safety items, so we can include those. And then also we continue to look at the other access for the bus shop, or the board office, at this time, getting some access control and some cameras there as well, because we know it's been a while since we've had them there. And what we've got as far as totals right now is $408,872, again, with the quotes that we've received. Looking at probably between $500,000 and $625,000 that would be available to us once we're awarded this grant. So I just wanna know that's what we're working on. I'm a big proponent of competitive grants, especially in small rural school systems, and what they're able to do in addition to our very tight budget. Any questions on that? All right, moving into our brick paver project. This was actually brought to my attention after last Monday's board meeting. And I wasn't really aware that there was a brick paver project, so I was glad that it was brought to my attention. But I think back in 2023, that was a fundraiser that the school system did. That was a project that they were looking at doing to kick off, the building of the new school.
The school system didn't do it, the chamber's the one that done it.
Okay, because the school system we're holding the funds for that. Was it a collaboration with the development authority, maybe the chamber? Was it more than one entity?
I actually promoted it for us.
Okay.
Very hard, Mr. Ben, promoted it for us, as well as all the newspaper.
Well, we sold in 2023 42 bricks. They had 4x8 bricks that were sold at $100 a piece, and 8x8 bricks that were sold for $200 a piece, for a total of $6,173 that was raised. So of those 42 bricks, I think the original intent, and I did see a flyer that somebody screenshot and sent it to me that was sent out a couple of years ago. And I think it was supposed to line the walkway to the College of Career Academy. Does that sound accurate? Okay, well, that walkway was paved.
That was the whole gist of it.
Well, there's no main entrance to the College of Career Academy on that end of the building, so I don't know exactly what the intent or what part of the walkway, but it was poured last week. So that concrete is down. What's not been poured yet is right here in front of the main entrance where the storefront is, where the main steps with all the there's an entire courtyard area there to the left. So my proposal would be, instead of it being down there at the other end of the building, like I said, which nobody would ever see those bricks, instead move it to the front entrance. I've already talked to JCI, they said they could do a design where you start off with the 42 bricks, and that's what you have the first year, and then maybe we open it up again next year, or open it up for the 5-year anniversary, or, you know, do something special, and then we can expand it to build more bricks, and make it just be an ongoing project. And that's something that they're able to do for us. If we chose to do that, we do have a very tight window, obviously, but when they pour and when this building's gonna be completed, it takes 2 to 3 weeks to make the brick papers, to do the personalization. So if the board is willing, I can open it back up, we can have it reposted back on all the websites and social media. Maybe have it open for a very limited time for anyone who didn't get a chance to participate in 2023, and now purchase it in, 2025. Sounds good, the board's
I
thoughts.
was kind of waiting myself.
Hmm?
I was kind of waiting myself to see. I know I think our class did. I'm not sure I can tell.
I think we had discussed about opening it up, back up, and make that closure.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it'd be great to do a challenge for all the classes, all the classes to do it.
I feel like if we were able to sell 42 when there was no building, and having the building up now,
Yeah.
I think would be a big incentive that people might not have considered then, that they would consider now.
I remember Mr. Masters showing us where it was gonna be. It was some side door going into he said that's where they would use the door to go into the building for people outside coming in, or make it easy for people.
There's a door about 2/3 of the way down, and it is in between where the main academic classes stop, and that career, but it's not a main entrance like this storefront. It's not the glass doors and the walls and that kind of entrance. Then there's an entrance around the corner, which will be a whole parking lot there for CTA. You can park, you can go in from that direction, but again, it's not a,
Right, it's not
like-
visible.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not shiny.
I did.
I personally don't care where they're at.
Personally, don't care.
Yeah, thank you.
But I'm sure those that follow want people to be able to see.
Yes. I like that idea.
So would y'all be in favor of opening it back up for a short window?
DOAA Department of Audit's final financial report.
I told Ms. Walker about that. You should have been emailed these 2 documents. I think she said we all received the email.
They should have been emailed the actual document,
This one.
the book.
Oh, this,
Yeah.
okay. So that's just provided. You should have a copy of that. And then I have the summary letter basically saying that we are in good financial